Batwoman #6, Margaret Bennett and James Tynion the fourth. It's his last issue, by the way. But after this, it'll be Bennett on her own, and then Renato Arlum on art. Which
I have a subtitle for the story.
Pax...
I'm gonna say it real quick.
Okay, go on.
Yeah. Well, it's called Pax Batmana.
Yeah.
I like to call it Days of Future Bats.
Oh, very good. Very good. So I will say first thing about the art. The art's not bad, right? But because it's after Epting, and who did the last issue?
Who was it?
I don't know. It was really pretty.
Was Stephanie Hans the last one?
Yeah. It was because it's just been Epting then. Yeah. So, given the artist we've had, this did feel like a step down, even though it's it's solid enough.
It's still pretty good.
I liked it. Like it felt like the detective stuff that we got early on.
It does a little bit. Yeah.
I think most importantly, there's a story reason for it to look different.
That is true.
Yeah.
I mean, I do wish Epting was back, but like I can't argue that at least it makes some sense. So this is set in a possible future, right? Where Kate is now running Colony with her second in command, who calls Jason. I'm like, no, it can't be. It can't be. And then later on, they actually just start calling him Red Hood, and I'm like, God damn it.
I know.
How dark has it been that he's relevant?
Oh dear. It's because they bond, because they're both red-coloured bat characters.
No.
Both down with guns.
Ah, yeah, you go. That was the reason.
Well, there's that too, and from what we get out, she's had a falling out with Batman, and we don't know what that means yet. And it's like, well, it makes sense because that's all Jason does. Is a falling out.
She's got a falling out with whoever the Batman is, but it's made clear very early on that Bruce Wayne is no longer Batman. In fact, it's made very clear that he's dead by a certain point.
Right.
And
do you know what I like about this in the sense that we're saying, it's a possible future.
Yeah.
This kind of plays into King's Batman, where we were told early on at the end of I think it was the end of the first arc that Bruce Wayne will die. It's like this feels like it could still be part of that story. It could lead to that.
It could do actually. So Gotham's changed. Like whoever Batman is, because I'm keeping it secret just now because it reveals it later on in the issue. But whoever Batman is, I did actually guess it. I want to say that my first guess was correct.
Well,
mine was not, because I thought, and it still might be true, but we'll get there at the end.
Okay, fair enough. So whoever Batman is, he's become a bit more fascist and militaristic. He's got an army of Batmen who have got guns and shit, and they have the old city, and then there's like Free Gotham or whatever it's called, which is like almost like the neutralized or the demilitarized zone that's like neutral and gets like some sort of like leeway with having people coming in and out. But there's a truce.
Yeah.
Like the colony cannot.
They can't go there, and Free Gotham can't go there, but nothing can happen in Free Gotham without first permission from the rest of Gotham. So the colony ship apparently has put out some warning shots to try and draw out Batman. That's not worked. So Kate goes down, and we find out that Renee Montoya is the commissioner of Gotham, which is pretty cool. Who's also older. They have a kind of sweet moment. They have a bit of a smooch and all the rest of it. But that's when we get that great shot of like you think it's Batman in the window with a silhouette, but it's actually these like bat soldiers who coming in, and we get that nice big 2-page layout of them, like Montoya and Kate just beating the shit out of all these bat soldiers and whatnot. But then Montoya does get shot, and Kate like has to so it's only flesh when you're going to survive, and like that's kind of the end of the issue. It's her picking her up and being like, Tim Drake will pay for this, and that's like, oh shit, Tim Drake is the for some reason the evil, but unless Matt's theory, whatever it is, what's your theory? So, as soon as I saw the Batman stuff and he's been weaponized, I thought, well, who would have had a falling out with the colony, but also kind of had an admiration of Batman? And I went to that little shit, Ulysses.
Okay. You think he's just claiming to be Tim Drake?
I think he's claiming to be Tim Drake, because right now,
that was his thing. He took Tim's armor, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
That's a very good point.
And so, in this continuity, Tim Drake's still dead, as far as we know, right? So, unless there's
because it's set in the future, I assumed you can just assume they've got Tim back because we know he's not.
Right.
Yeah, because we're already setting up. I mean, it's not even just that we know that he's alive. We're already setting up that Batman knows he's alive now. So it feels kind of weird if we're going in that assumption that he may still be dead.
What I'm just saying is that leaves room for an imposter Tim, right? To come in, and I'm not saying that's where the detective story's heading.
whatsoever.
Well, it depends
I don't
what
think
they're
that
doing.
at all.
Because part of me thinks it's more interesting if it is Tim, because then it's like, okay, why is Tim like this? What changed? What made him do this?
Right, and obviously Tim is the successor to Batman. So
He is
the way that he's taken it and then perverted it is interesting, I think.
Yeah,
but him being my favorite Robin, this really kills me.
It's supposed to upset you, man. That's the point. It's like, no, this is wrong.
I get that.
I feel it in my veins.
And
I get that, but
again,
at the same time,
this here is the other Brother Eye reference.
It is, yes. Brother Eye factor in here, yeah.
This one's much clearer, surely.
Yeah, because he calls it Brother Eye, or whoever mentions it calls it Brother Eye, and it's Batman's using it to spy on people and whatnot. What I do love about this, I love the constant, because it opens with this like flashback to Kate first seeing Batman, and a lot of talk about what the bat symbol represents, or what it used to represent, and how it's been perverted. And like even Bullock talks about how when that signal used to be on, even I felt like a little bit better because it was on. I felt a little bit like, okay, things might be okay. It was comforted by it. Renee talks about how it used to feel better. Kate wants to, and it's funny that Kate's the one who wants to like save it, because obviously it means something to her because she became Batwoman, but she's the one who's been a bit more loosey-goosey with maybe, I will use guns. I will be a little bit more, rule breaking.
She has her own interpretation of the symbol.
Yeah.
Well, she's much more of a soldier than anybody else. Even Tim.
But it means something to her, like to where that symbol does actually matter, and she still kind of has a version of it on her suit.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting just talking about how, like, I like that from the perspective of making us care about it as a reader. They're saying, okay, this story's about someone took the symbol of the bat and perverted it, so now we are rooting for Kate to try and make it mean something again.
I think it's literally like her version of the symbol that she has on here is literally broken up into segments.
Yeah.
And it's the idea that you got to make it whole again.
Yeah, got to put it back together. I'm curious how this affects the book as a whole, though. Like, because this obviously is a future story that probably will never actually come to pass. So thematically, what's this doing for the present day stuff? Does this turn out to be something that's in her head, or something like that, where it reflects what she's going through?
We got like hints of this stuff at the end of the Rebirth issue as well.
We did, yeah. They teased it, but but it's a future story. So what does it mean?
But I think that's more of a Kate Kane thing than a Batwoman thing. So I think we might see this play out more in Detective than in Batwoman. Of
course, yeah, because it ends with a big page. Like, once she says, I need to make Tim Drake pay, we end with that big... It was kind of like Doomsday Clock, where you turn the page and it's like, Fall of the Batman coming in Detective, what was it, 969?
969.
Yeah.
So, obviously, this is going to be a detective story, but it makes me wonder, so what is this? I mean, it actually makes me think that, and if it's going to be a detective story, this is like a tease that makes us think it's the future, but in Detective it's actually like maybe a virtual reality or a magical thing where they've all went to an alternate reality or so, something like that, where there'll actually be a reason for it.
I really think we keep saying Tynion is writing, and I know it's Tynion, but I'm sticking to my guns. Tynion.
I
know. That he writes the best X-Men comics right now, and I definitely feel the influence of Days of Future Past. So I feel like maybe
it's a future, but they'll fix it.
Yeah,
right.
So I think that this Kate comes to the past, like in Days of Future Past, but our Kate goes to the future. So like they do a temporal swap because they can't. So we get both sides of the story.
Well, here's what's interesting, actually. The fact that this arc seems to take place right after A Lonely Place of Living. So I think it's very interesting that this is going to take place in Detective right after Tim comes back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So obviously whatever Tim's went through might be the catalyst that starts to change.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why, let's say future Kate has to come back and like stop him from being what he becomes. It's because she needs to intervene at that point, because that's when he just went through his ordeal.
I think it's the idea that if this is Tim, it's whatever that he went through, while he was a captive, has changed him.
Yeah.
And what affected him so much that he became this.
That's why I'm saying it's interesting it takes place right after he comes back.
Alternatively, what is he protecting against? What does he know?
If
he's doing this, there's a reason. It's because presumably he thinks there's something to protect against. Like, why is he keeping Gotham safe in his vision?
I'm curious. I'm assuming that Batwoman goes back to a regular issue next month. I'm not sure about that, though.
Yeah.
I think so, because it just says next in Batwoman 7, Fear and Loathing.
So,
sounds normal.
Yeah, as much as I enjoy Batwoman,
that sounds normal for Batwoman. Fear and Loathing. That's just normal for Batwoman.
It kind of is, though, isn't it?
Well, as I was saying, I've enjoyed Batwoman. It's been fun. It's got the Epting art, but the story was starting to lose me with Safia and the Twins Corporation that I can't remember, Collie Corp.
Can't remember it. Calicorp.
Because I always remember Kali Ma, Temple of Doom, and then it comes. But
Of course.
so I liked this break of it because I was sick of the smugglers, kind of. Just like I don't care that much. And now it's kind of we're going back to the smugglers, but it's new.
Well,
this was like a palate cleanser.
Well, this is the weird thing is that me and Connor have definitely been enjoying it more than you, I think. Like, we've been a lot more into the story. But I still enjoyed this issue because I actually, like, I wasn't sure how I felt about this. Like, you know, when we saw that panel back in Rebirth issue and it was, future Kates, the head of the colony, I'm like, really? But now that it does feel like it's going to be their Days of Future Bats, to use Matt's phrase, I'm like, you know what? No, I'm actually digging this. I'm curious as to where this goes now.
I love this issue because it was not what I expected. Like Matt says, it kind of was a palate cleanser. I was enjoying that stuff anyway, but this was so different. But it worked so well as just a single contained issue.
Do you know what I think?
This is great.
Do you know what I think worked about it so well for me? Is it so often when you get these weird future stories or alternate realities, it feels so different. But I think what grounded this and made it feel like it had the heart for me as a Batman, family fan, is all that talk about the symbol used to mean this. It's the idea that someone cares that it's not the right way. Like
even stuff like Kate and Renee having their relationship. Like that's what makes it feel real.
Yeah, it's the heart's there. Because I think my big problem when they do these alternate things, or when you make Captain America the Nazi and it feels like for shock value, you can't really feel the true story coming through yet. Whereas here, right from the get-go, I'm like, okay, no, the bat meant something, and the characters care that it's being perverted. They care that something's wrong, and they want to fix it.
Right.
And it puts them in the same
Kate,
side as me as a reader.
Well, yeah, and the problem with what they do with Captain America is Captain America kind of means the same thing to everybody, but the symbol of the bat means something different to each member of the Bat family. So to Jason, it means completely something else, and maybe that's why he's teamed with her to try to take it back.
Yeah,
and
even as bad as Tim's got an army, and that feels wrong, and certainly the condition Gotham's in feels bad. Still not quite a Nazi.
No, he's definitely a fascist, though, with jackbooted thugs.
It does feel fascisty, but
oh sure,
yeah.
But we haven't seen him
those
round
are kind of the
anyone
best
else yet.
dystopias. Yeah.
Not yet. We'll see how it goes.
Not yet.
I said we don't know where this story's going.
We don't. But at least.
But also keep your eyes peeled for Ulysses. I'm calling it now.